Pinterest, as you just heard Lauren say, may be worth $11 billion. It's just one of 70 private companies worldwide that have passed that billion-dollar valuation mark. The Wall Street Journal has just relaunched an interactive project called the Billion-Dollar Startup Club to track these companies. Deputy tech editor Scott Austin wrote the story in the Journal. He also helped to reboot the project. So, Scott, do you have a relaunch? Did you have to do it because there were so many companies above $1 billion?
Yeah, we started this project in January 2014. At the time, there were about 40 such companies. Today, there are at least 73. There are probably several that we don't know about because all of this is private. It's all about what we've confirmed as reporters and our data provider, VentureSource. So this explosion, we're talking 48 companies were added just last year. That's almost one per week. So what we wanted to do was to really show in graphical form, but also in text, just how many companies are involved. There's a lot of startups that a lot of people haven't heard of on this list, and to just show the velocity in valuations. There were about 4 companies last year that were valued at $10 billion or more. Today there are 8. And the reasons for this, in a lot of ways, these companies are staying private longer. And so these public market investors, there's this huge layer of capital that is funneling into what venture capitalists will say are the biggest and best bets. And the question will be, as these valuations inflate, will the public markets receive them and really value them even higher than where they are now?
So, Scott, you just heard the conversation about Pinterest and Snapchat, which are clearly above this billion-dollar mark. How much is social media grabbing among these 70s that you're tracking? How many are social media?
Yeah, there's a fair share. We label them as consumer internet. Some of them are websites, some of them are apps. I believe there's about a dozen or so. Software really takes the bulk. I think about 23 companies are actually software. Mark Andreessen famously said, the investor said, software is eating the world, and you're certainly seeing that as it really pervades every company. Yeah, I mean, it's a big part. If you look overseas, it's interesting. There are several companies, probably about a dozen in China, and many of them are actually e-commerce companies. It's online retail is huge there. Clearly, they have a big audience, so there are a lot of businesses that are kind of feeding into that. And you know, 10, 12 years ago, there were 0 in China that were valued at that. So we're really seeing a huge surge in China. Overall in the U.S., there are about 50 companies. In San Francisco alone, there are 20.
Okay.
So obviously, Silicon Valley and San Francisco are still the big kind of power centers for some of these companies.
All right, Scott. And for those who are tracking your project, I know it's interactive, so it's going to be changing every day. People can check it out, www.wsj.com. Scott Austin, Deputy Tech Editor, thank you very much.